Hello, and welcome to Dogs with Torches, Episode 5. If you could sit down and speak with any historical figure, be it ancient, modern, or contemporary, of whom would you choose? In this podcast episode, we will be examining the meaning of this channel's namesake, the dog with the torch in its mouth, and discussing particularly its origins. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of this podcast episode. So the question that I'm sure many of you are asking is, why is the symbol for this channel and podcast a dog with a torch in its mouth? And what does it have to do with medieval history and philosophy? And I thought that I would spend this quick podcast episode examining exactly why I chose this symbol for this podcast. Now, this symbol does not originate with this channel, and in fact it goes all the way back to the 12th century AD. The story originates with a Roman Catholic mendicant friar named Jordan of Saxony. Jordan of Saxony had written a biography of his order's founder, Saint Dominic, and it is from him that we get the story of the dog with a torch in its mouth. According to Blessed Jordan, Saint Dominic's mother, Joan of Aza, was making a pilgrimage to the abbey of San Domenico di Silos. During her stay at the abbey, she had a dream that a dog leapt from her womb carrying a torch in its mouth that set afire everything around her. Soon after, she would conceive a son with her husband and name him Dominic, after St. Dominic of Silos. Dominic would later go on to found the order of preachers, or Dominicans, whose charism was mainly preaching. Blessed Jordan records the event as follows. Before his mother conceived him, she saw in a vision that she would bear in her womb a dog who, with a burning torch in his mouth and leaping from her womb, seemed to set the whole earth on fire. This was to signify that her child would be an eminent preacher who, by barking sacred knowledge, would rouse to vigilance souls drowsy with sin, as well as scatter throughout the world the fire which the Lord Jesus came to cast upon the earth. The dog quickly became a symbol for the Dominican order, and one possible reason that it became so popular is because the symbol acted as a pun for the order of preachers, or Dominicans. The Latin word for Dominicans, Dominicana, sounds similar for the Latin for God and hound, or Dominicanis. As this channel is dedicated to teaching others about interesting topics of medieval history and philosophy, it would seem appropriate to name the channel after the famous symbol. So, in case you were wondering why such a seemingly bizarre name was made for the channel, that is why. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode, and expect another in the coming weeks. The next episode will be about the Frankish monarch Charles the Great, or Charlemagne. We will be discussing his rise to power, his ancestry in the Carolingian dynasty, his relationship with the papacy, and the title bestowed upon him by Pope Leo III, the title of Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.